Welcome to the My Careers podcast, and I'm joined by Guy Lloyd and Lucy Sharp. Can we start maybe, Guy, by talking about your career and experience of being a sales professional?
I started my sales career actually in pre-sales, in technical support for a company, a sales guy who was selling a product to the government, and I was doing the customer support side. And I found it very interesting talking to and meeting the customer. So I moved over time into a sales role. I took on the responsibility for selling. And that's how I started. And then through various moves, through companies, I was in IBM for quite a while. And IBM was fantastic for me. We lived in Switzerland for 2 years, lived in America for 3 years, all thanks to IBM. I've traveled over most of Europe. I've been to Asia many times, been in big sales conferences in Las Vegas and Dubai. I've worked for Microsoft. I've worked for and traveled in Eastern Europe, most of Eastern Europe. Had a lot of experience and also worked for small companies. So, It's been fantastic.
So if we were thinking about where a career in sales might start, what would you see as like a real, like the entry point into sales for a young person, maybe in year 11? They've just finished their GCSEs. They're thinking, I'm gonna get a job in the summer. So is that a good way to kind of like dip your toe and start thinking, do I like dealing with customers? Am I good at upselling? Maybe someone comes in for one product and they end up walking out with more. Is that what we would call like an entry level into sales?
I think anything where you're dealing with sort of customer service type jobs, so on a sort of sales floor is great. I mean, I started in, for those who remember, MFI, flat pack furniture.
Okay.
I worked on the sales floor there, and that was great fun. A lot of money. I paid tax when I was still a 16, 17-year-old. That's how much, it was great. Yeah. But really enjoy the discussion, helping people fit out their kitchens, fit out their living rooms. And that discussion, I think, really helped me to decide, yes, I enjoy this. I enjoy helping people. And it is about helping people. Fundamentally, you're helping an individual or a company to get to a better position.
Yeah.
Think of sales a bit like a doctor's job is to make the patient better.
Yeah.
A professional salesperson makes their customer's business better.
Okay.
Yeah, we're making things better. We're a service industry. So anything in customer service is a great foundation for this job.
You think you know what it is until you actually start doing it.
Yeah.
And it's different, a little bit different. So into a contact centre, onto a retentions line, which effectively means when you push the button saying, I want to leave, you come through to maybe someone like me that tries to convince you want to stay and re-secure your business. And I think you're taking 20 to 40 calls a day.
Right.
And that is a very intense way of actually working out, do I enjoy this?
Yeah.
Can I do it? And am I being successful in it?
So it's really like Virgin Media putting you right at kind of like, like the starting point to see. It's a bit sink or swim really, isn't it? Really kind of like the basics of selling is where, even though you've got a degree, you have to go in at the bottom and just see whether that is, you can hack it really.
Yeah, you've got to earn your stripes effectively, but also you've got to make sure that it's the right time, shall we say. And actually what you couldn't do is come straight into a business and go and do the job that I'm doing now. It's just not feasible. You've got to grow and develop, and actually even just the basics of the fear of the phone. It's a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, young people don't speak on the phone, do they?
But doing it for 3 months, it becomes I can do that. So you kind of move through that. Then you go into more of a desk-based account management role, which is selling a small set of products to a larger customer base, maybe 80 different customers that you're managing.
Okay.
So you're starting to get that more strategic selling rather than kind of your broadbands or your phones that I was selling in the contact centre, but still with the comfort of a big team, office environment and a lot of mentoring and coaching.
Okay.
And moving on from that, kind of typically the third and final rotation is around putting you with some of our field-based account managers. So effectively you can see what they're doing, work with some bigger, more strategic accounts, but also with the comfort blanket of if you fall, someone's going to catch you.
Okay, which is nice when you're still training.
Yeah. So I'm going to manage all the business as usual day-to-day stuff, but actually I can get exposure to some of the more glamorous strategic opportunities and how they're being managed through the business and with the customer. So it's a very intense, quick program that gives you a lot of foundation skills. In probably 18 to 20, 24 months, you are feeling pretty ready, albeit never completely ready, to move into kind of the world.
So it's quite important that you are, a good like people person. You're able to like understand people. Maybe you have like empathy, so you can understand what it is that kind of like what they need and how to meet that need. Is that kind of what we say about sales?
Absolutely. Good emotional intelligence, as they say, is important. You need to understand people. There are lots of skills that you need. The understanding people, what makes them tick, what's important to them. Being able to actually ask good questions to actually uncover the needs they've got. Help convince them that what you're doing is actually in their benefits, and the risk of investing in that thing is minimal, because that's what puts off most businesses actually is the risk of change. And in fact, an individual, if you think that purchase is not a very sensible one, you're not going to do it, are you?
No, I guess so. If you cast your mind back to like when you were in school, say in different situations when you're like, I don't know, in year 10 or year 11, or when you're doing your A-levels, do you think there were, looking back, any skills that you had then that you recognise as being helpful now?
So I think I've always liked to talk, and actually my mum would say I could make or break a room in a sentence if I wanted to.
Okay.
And what I realised is I needed to be around people, I needed to engage with people.
Yeah.
But I was also naturally interested in why people made the decisions that they did, why people thought the way they thought.
Yeah.
And I think that like being intrigued and interested is something that's fundamental to sales.
Absolutely.
I need to understand why you're doing what you're doing, why you're thinking the way you're thinking, what's making you tick.
Yeah.
I'm not here to force a sale down your throat. I'm here to understand and translate what I can offer into your language. So I think that was something, just being inquisitive, wanting to understand.
Yeah.
But also, I've always been a chatterbox. I've had to learn it's not what you say, it's how you say it sometimes.
Yeah,
and sometimes
fair enough.
passion has to come off in the right way.
Yes.
But I think they're probably kind of the two things that I'd say led me almost into sales. If you're looking at kind of that young age, I'd probably say there are a couple of things.
Young people are very curious, I guess, about like the earning potential of the careers that they're going to head into. So can you give us an idea of like, if I'm 23, 24 years old and I'm in my first kind of like main sales role, what would they expect to earn? And then like, how does it work? How does commission work? What's commission all about?
Okay, well, the ranges of earnings for a starting salesperson is quite broad, I think. I would have thought that sort of person could earn 25, 30, 35,000.
Yeah.
If you're in the right business with the right type of need, they will pay well for a good salesperson. And you can prove yourself very quickly and progress very quickly as well. So in 5 years' time, you could be earning double that quite easily.
Okay.
The best salespeople who are working for larger enterprises are probably earning well into six figures. And in fact, it's not uncommon for the best salespeople to be earning more than a chief executive. That is not uncommon.
And they do that by hitting their sales targets?
Yes, they do. Most salespeople are measured on a revenue, the amount of sales they make, and they get paid a percentage of that value as a commission.
Yeah.
So you have a base salary, which is usually quite nice, and then you have almost the same again, typically in commission.
Yeah.
And then when you earn more than your target, so you're asked to sell £1 million worth of something,
Yeah.
and you sell £2 million worth of something, you're going to get twice as much commission or even more than that. Because when you make your target, often you get accelerators, which means you actually get a higher percentage of the sales value than before you make your target. I mean, it's a tremendous career, and I recommend it to anybody.